I need to assign someone whenever
right?
I start these things. I'm not going to start over. We already know where we are
Yeah.
with Dr. Maureen McGuire, and she's here to talk to us about using Poll Everywhere to increase student engagement. Thank you for being here, Dr. McGuire.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for hosting me, Dr. Inman. So it's my pleasure to have you all here. I know that folks will join in, but a little bit later possibly. But I know that Chris is also recording this. So if you have to pop out or anything, or experience any technical difficulty, just come back in if you can, or please ask Dr. Inman for the recording, or you're welcome to email me and we can talk about things. Um, together privately if you wish as well. But this is one tool that I've been using for probably at least 5 years now, I'd say. And I have noticed it is really helpful. I teach several gen ed classes as well, and I find it most useful in that classroom. But I also find it useful when you're talking about what might be considered sensitive material. So right now I'm teaching a class on Islamic art and visual culture, and some students might not feel comfortable necessarily with maybe getting something or sharing something that might demonstrate that they're misunderstanding a culture or might demonstrate their ignorance in some way. But this allows them to share their ideas but anonymously, and so I find that they're more willing to engage in this way. So why engage students? And this might seem like a silly question, but perhaps it's not. But it creates opportunities for students to critically engage with ideas and each other. So if they see that a student has shared a response in the poll that might mimic something that they are already thinking, that will give them a little bit more confidence to identify with each other, even though it's anonymously. They know that someone else in the room kind of has this idea, or engage with the content, which of course is really important. It helps students adopt a growth mindset. I think that this platform allows students to see that they're learning, that it's okay to be wrong and it's okay to maybe have a misconception. But the point of the space in the classroom is to learn and sort of maybe reframe the way that they're thinking about something. And it also increases student motivation and investment in the course content, because they're able to contribute in ways that maybe they're not quite comfortable doing so vocally in the classroom yet. So many of us probably use active learning activities now. Some of us may use question and answer to respond in class. I noticed that especially in my gen ed classes or my Jax Mix classes, that students just are really, really shy and they don't want to speak up because they're uncomfortable with the content. Especially when they're talking about art, they sometimes I think they come to the classroom with this misconception that they're not smart enough to talk about art. Um, so I find that this can be really challenging, just posing a question and hoping that they'll respond to me or raise their hand. We might use think, pair, share activities. We might use entry or exit tickets. There are myriad other active learning activities that many of us may use. And then many of us in teaching online might use online discussion boards or any of the other sort of activities built into Canvas or things that are extensions from Canvas. So there are lots of ways that we already do this, but I just wanted to introduce this other platform in case it's useful to students. The trouble with engaging students is that, in my experience, they're really shy. They don't want to raise their hand. They don't want to speak in class for whatever reason. They're unfamiliar with the content, so they lack the confidence to talk about it. So this kind of is close to the shyness point, but they're just unfamiliar with the content. So even if they have prepared for class and they have studied or read the assigned material, they're just not confident with it enough to start talking about it, or they don't know anyone. So they're just not feeling safe in the space to talk about what they might want to talk about, even if they do feel confident with the material. They're just, again, this is shy, but it's because they don't know anyone. So Poll Everywhere allows students to interact and to respond with instructor-posed questions anonymously and on their phones. So I will take a moment here to look at Poll Everywhere, but I also wanted to just gesture towards the fact that I was really frustrated with students being on their phones in class. So this actually allows me to like acknowledge, yes, you have your phone and you are looking at it. But now we're going to use it constructively in class and you can actually function in class using your phone. So it's kind of a benefit. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to Poll Everywhere. I'm going to demonstrate creating a new activity, demonstrate sharing an activity. We'll probably do one of the polls that I already have set up or the activities that I have set up. And I'll show you that you can either share a QR code, a URL, or a text number, or you can just share the presentation, and then I will show you how to share the results of the activity. So if you would like, you too can navigate your browser to www.polleverywhere.com as I'm demonstrating this. So let me just share my, I don't want to do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just share another PowerPoint slide. It will give you an idea of how I use this, and we can actually run through one of the polls. So 1 second. Okay, so some of you may have joined me for my iClicker presentation. That's my iClicker presentation. Um, so when I use Poll Everywhere, I share the QR code, which you can see here on the right. And then you can also see that the students can also respond to a text code, or they can respond on their computers using that URL on the left. So there are a variety of ways that students can respond to the polls, which is really helpful. And I know, I think, Lori, you were saying that you're teaching online, and if you're using an asynchronous or a synchronous course and you're having Teams meetings or other virtual meetings, this is a great way for students to access these polls that way, because they're already presumably on their computer. I have had students in the past who will be like driving while they're supposed to be in class. So obviously they should not be accessing the polls. But ideally, a student will not be driving around when they're supposed to be participating in class. But these are the ways that a student can respond to the poll. Most often, my students, in my experience, are trying to access the poll using the QR code on their phone. If they want to do that, I always encourage them to have their Wi-Fi settings open to the Wi-Fi on campus so that they're not using their data, or, they're not paying to do this. The biggest caveats about Poll Everywhere is that the polls are limited to up to 45 users. So if you have a class of more than 45, then you may have to purchase additional access to the poll, which is not ideal. In the past, when I was a graduate student teacher, I would just have like two polls running at the same time, and I would divide because I had a class of, I think, 95 students or something like that. So I would divide students with the last name A to L respond to this QR code, and students with the last name M to Z respond to this QR code. So there are ways to get around it. There are also other polling software or platforms that you can use. So you may want to sort of like shop around if Poll Everywhere doesn't seem like the best option for you. But I do think it's a great option for students who are just feeling shy, want to access on their phones, and are okay with responding on the QR code. Like they're not worried about like spending the money to respond in this way. So what I can do is I will actually open up another uh, PowerPoint for us to look at, and we can actually try one of the polls. Hang on one second. And this is one that I use. This is a survey that I use pretty much every semester, especially for my art survey students. Um, and so this is just kind of a general one I'll open up for us. So I ask them how they like to complete assignments. So this is like a very low stakes one. And it just allows students to share what they think. So I will go ahead and open it up. If you want to scan the QR code, you can start to respond to it. While you do that, I'm going to see if I can share my browser window. So work on that, and I'll see if I can fix this. Yeah, I think it was my. There we go. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So here is what you will see when you are in PollEverywhere. So I have the screenshot of what you were looking at is in my slides, and then your responses are here. So you can share this on this screen like this, or you can use the presentation mode in which the items will appear more like a PowerPoint presentation. And here you can actually see some of the um, responses from some of my students from a previous poll that I took, and then we can also see some of your responses as well. So yeah, the Outlook calendar, they write dates in their phones, they put it in their to-do list and things like that. So this is how you would see all of the results. So let me close this, and I will show you all of my other activities. So when you go into your account, you'll see that you have just kind of the landing page, and this button will take you to all of the activities that you've created. I have a number of different folders for the classes that I have taught in the past where I've created other polls or other surveys. One really fun one that I have done in the past is this what is art. So this allows students to tell me what they think art is or isn't. So I'll just show this to you. I won't have you respond to it. But let me do it this way. Um, but it should show us. Uh, they can tell me what the definition of art is, and then their responses will show up here. I also have one that, oops, it's in here. Is it art? And we can see here that I have a number of images, and then students tell me if they think it is or is not art. And so this can be a really fun way to at least start discussing. Um, and this allows students to have seen something, and then we can jump off into a discussion. They're a little bit more confident to discuss what they've already seen. And now they can also see that 100% of the students in the class also agree that this mural, for example, is art. And so then this builds up their confidence a little bit to discuss this in class. So again, I'll just present this to you so you can see what it looks like. And this tells me that 0 surveys have been completed. No one else is taking it. Oftentimes I will start the discussion after most people have finished the survey, and then we can start the discussion. And again, students can see the results so they're a little bit more confident. When you're creating an activity, you can select this button here from the landing page, and you can select a variety of types of poll or survey. So with the multiple choice, it's exactly that. You'll pose a question or provide a prompt, and then the students can select from the choices that you have. To enter the correct answer, you would just click this check mark. So this is more like a multiple choice on a test where they're selecting a correct answer. The word cloud is more graphic, and if students are mentioning the same term repeatedly, the term will get larger, and smaller terms mean that fewer people have entered that word. A Q&A is really helpful if you're just asking for responses. I often use the open-ended response. This is a free-form answer, and it's a great way for students to actually say what they think, but anonymously, and you know, uh, they're not having to speak that aloud. The survey is great for things like, do you think this is art or not? And then the competition is a great way to like play Jeopardy in the classroom. This is something that I've done with my art appreciation students in the past, where I'm just trying to check for knowledge about whether or not they understand concepts about formal analysis or visual analysis. So this is a great low stakes way, and it gets my students, especially in my Gen Ed or my Jax Mix classes who don't know each other that well, they can also work together in teams to one, get to know each other, and two, check for understanding. Um, so I will go ahead and just create one of these open-ended ones. How do you like poll everywhere? And then I will click create. That will take me into this page, and I can select how I want folks to respond. This allows all of the methods, so the website or the text message or the QR code, and I can see the URL, the text message, and the QR code here. You can restrict who responds and how they respond. I usually have the everyone with no restrictions, and then I usually select completely anonymous. This allows students or respondents to just respond. They don't have to create an account or a screen name. And again, this kind of increases the anonymity. If you want to have any response settings, like you can only have one time to respond or as many times as they like, students or participants can change their answers, and you can also add a reply message. So after they have participated, a message can go out to them that you have composed. You can moderate this if you would like, and then you can also set a timer. These are not features that I use very often, but if you have a specific activity in mind that would require timing, there are ways to do that. You can test the activity, and you can also send it. You can embed it into maybe a Canvas activity or an announcement in Canvas, and then you can also present any type of instructions. Then to activate this, you would just click activate. This means that now the poll is live, or the survey is live, and folks can respond to any of these three formats. And then we'll go ahead and see what you think about PollEverywhere. If you want to use the QR code, you can scan that and just let me know, how do you like PollEverywhere, and we'll see what happens. If folks want to give this a try. And if you do test it, it will just show you how the responses come up, since I wasn't able to show you this live a few minutes ago. Yay, love. Okay, great. And you'll see that as responses start to come in, the list will start to populate from the top. So the most recent, yeah, it's great. So you'll see that the most recent responses are at the top. And yeah, I think it's been great for asynchronous. Thumbs up. Yay, easier than you thought. This is great. Cool. So to end the poll, you see that there's this disappearing menu at the bottom. I hope that you can see it. And you can exit the presentation mode, and then you can see that the poll has been deactivated. So I'm not receiving responses anymore. If you tried, you wouldn't be able to. If I wanted to use this poll again or this survey again in the future, but I wanted to remove all of these responses so that I wasn't getting confused about, if I was presenting this in the future and everybody hated PollEverywhere, I wasn't seeing the grade easier than you thought. You can clear the responses. They do get cleared, but there is a history report page. So I'll clear them, and then it's ready for me to use in the future. So now that I actually was able to show PollEverywhere, let me go back to my slides. And do you have any questions that I can answer for you while we're all together? Let me open the chat in case folks want to ask in the chat.
Feel free to ask any questions either in the chat or unmute.
Absolutely. If not, yeah, I'm really sorry for taking up so much of your time with my technical difficulty there. But if you have any questions about PollEverywhere or how you can implement it in your classroom, please let me know. No need to raise your hand. Just please ask your question, Lori or Allison. Please ask your question.
Silly question, but I guess we need to log in, right? Or is this part of Teams?
So for PollEverywhere, you do need to create your own account.
Okay.
It's not something that the university has a subscription to, as far as I'm aware. So it is something that you would do on your own. Yes, the account is free, up to 45 respondents. So we don't have an institutional account. But once you create your account in PollEverywhere, it is free. And Lori, did you have a question? Your hand is up, Lori, so that's why I'm asking. Sorry. Oh, thanks, Chris. That's really helpful.
Maybe unmute, Lori.
Okay. Okay. So maybe Lori doesn't have a question. But if anybody has any other questions, you're welcome to email me in the future. Or if you just see me on campus, I'm always happy to stop and talk. So thank you so much for your time and putting up with me with my technical difficulty. I'm really sorry about that. And I really appreciate everybody being here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Maureen. I enjoyed it.
Yay.
Lori.
Thanks, Allison.
Hey,
Thanks,
Lori.
Maureen.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, Lori, type the question in the chat.
I think, Lori, you're unmuted now, actually. So
Yeah,
we
you're
can
unmuted.
hear
Can
you.
you hear me now? I don't
Yeah,
know.
now we
can hear
can.
you.
I literally, I've never had that problem. So I think like whatever problem you were having, it was over here too. Cause
Teams is just unhappy today.
I use it all the time. I've never been able to not unmute myself.
I
It was
know,
so horrible. I'm so sorry.
bizarre.
No, I really wanted to, I'm so glad that you pointed out this because, I know people use them in conferences and I haven't been using them just because I really never knew how to do it, but I went and signed
Right.
up for it when you showed
Right.
me. But I was thinking about how I could use it in my, because I am discussion posting these students to death. So I'm
Right.
thinking about ways to do it where they don't get points for it, but
Mhm.
it's a way that maybe if I could embed it in, because I have to do it in a recorded lecture. I've never
Right.
taught an online class before. It's
Mhm.
so hard for
Yeah.
me to measure whether they're actually watching the lecture. So I'm
Right.
thinking, and I think I read while you were talking, I was looking at
Mhm.
the polls everywhere. I can
Mhm.
embed it actually in my lecture, recorded lecture. I can stop it
Yes.
and have them pause it. And
Yep.
then I can actually see if they're taking, if they're interacting with the lecture, or giving them a pause so that they
Mhm.
can respond to me to see if something I'm saying is making sense or not. So
Mhm.
I just found that out while you were
Mhm.
showing us that, and I was looking
Mhm.
at the site. So I guess it's more not a question, but just now that I just figured out that I could do that. And
Mhm.
for that, I love the fact that you brought this to our attention, because
Yeah.
that's my biggest problem right now is just,
Mhm.
and my class is AI literacy. So it's so
Oh.
new, and
Yeah.
they're scared to talk about it because
Right.
a lot of the students, there's so many opinions,
Right.
and it's such but I know they want to talk about it,
Right.
so
Right.
I think that I can definitely use this, because I have
Right.
used the discussion post more than I can use it anymore. Like, I've
Yeah.
discussion posted them out. So I
Yeah.
think that this
Yeah.
would actually help put it in my lecture, and then they
Mhm.
can pause the
Mhm.
lecture, and I can actually see if,
Mhm.
first of all, if they're doing it, but the main thing is, if what they think while I'm talking, since they're not there.
Exactly.
um
Exactly. And the only thing that, and Lori, I'm just admitting this because I've never tried it, what you're suggesting before. The only thing I'm not sure about is how it can be active, because in my experience, I have to activate it and deactivate it. So I'm not sure if it can just be like constantly live, or if it's um something that you have to like it's timed basically. Because
okay.
in that case, I'm wondering if just putting a QR code for a Microsoft form would be better. It would achieve the same results, but you wouldn't have to worry about the poll being live. Um, and if you wanted to talk more about that, I'd be happy to talk about it with you. Because I think that might actually, and Chris, you might, Dr. Inman, you might have some opinions or suggestions for this as well, but I'm wondering if that might be a better tool for what you're talking about, which I think is perfect.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
um I definitely want to look into that. I see what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was saying you could embed it into a recorded lecture, but I see what you're
Absolutely.
saying about it being alive. So I'm going to have to
Mm-hmm.
experiment with it,
Yeah.
which is all I've been doing is experimenting.
I know that's like how online teaching is. It's just, and I should say that I was primarily online for a very long time as well. So, I'm happy to talk about that more with you. Um, yeah, so you can keep it live, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure just because I don't have experience. So you might have, basically, you might have to experiment, Lori, as you already have
Okay.
acknowledged.
Yes, but I'm so glad to know there's something I can sort of, I see some ideas, and I actually even I use the chat GPT also to see if I could find some ways that I could,
Perfect.
like incorporate it, asynchronously. So now I'm just going to have to go try it. But I just, anything like this is helpful to me. What you're talking
Great.
about, so
Yeah.
helpful. And I'm going
Yeah.
to use it at conferences now for sure.
Exactly. No, it's great for conferences. It's great for like presentations. Like I think I'll probably share it at the Student Success Summit next week. And yeah, it's really a wonderful, versatile, free tool. So
Excellent.
yep.
Well, thank you so much. I really
Oh, it's been
appreciate
a
it.
pleasure. No, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for bearing with me in my technical difficulties.
Oh no, and I'm sorry at the end I had to like, where's Lori? I don't
What the
know,
heck?
no video, no audio.
I know. It's been a day.
Yeah, technology, and here I am
Yeah.
trying to teach AI literacy.
I know. Right.
It's so ironic.
Very, very.
Yes, very. But awesome though. Well, I really appreciated it. Thank you.
Yeah, my
Good to
pleasure.
know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, you're welcome to stick around with us. But if not, thank you so much for your time and your energy and your attention. And I'm just so happy to have had so many people here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. We really appreciate you being here and sharing with
My
us
pleasure.
today.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Maureen.
You're welcome. See you all later.
Everyone have a good afternoon.
You too, Chris.
Bye.
Bye.